Good evening, toy family out there. Good to see everybody on another Wednesday night. Wednesday nights means it is Gfpf After Dark. We're on our 22nd episode, man. That is fantastic. We love seeing everybody here. We see everybody saying hello. H, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Staying up past my bedtime like always. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good now. I had a bit of a day, but I'm good now, man. We're good. We're rolling. It's good. I'm here.
We're rolling.
How you doing, Nico?
We're rolling. We are fat guys. We are rolling, literally. Good afternoon, night, good morning. I don't know. For me, it's midnight. We got people here from New Zealand, from Philippines, from New Jersey, from West Coast. So hello to everyone and good night for me. Good morning for the other guys.
It's already the next day for you, right? You're already tomorrow. You're the guy from the future.
I'm kind of in the future. We got some guys here that are more in the future than me.
That is true.
I'm speaking about USH.
Right.
Where are you? New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
So we got some people on the room here.
Yeah, who do we got out there, buddy?
We got the guy, the legend, Flip Member.
What's up, buddy?
We got our own galactic misfits.
Eric, good to see you, bud.
Eric?
Yeah. What else? We got Greek Toy Photography here. What up, mister?
Hello.
Good
How's
evening.
it going?
And this is SH Figure Artist, the guy from the future.
What's happening,
Good
buddy?
evening.
Live from New Zealand. Benny.
Benny.
There you go. It's 4 p.m. there. So it's 4 p.m. on the Thursday.
Wow.
And for me, it's
All
like
right.
0.
He is way in the future.
He's 16 hours later than me. What else? We got, there's a Moncalurian in the house.
Hey,
What up,
man.
brother?
Oh, man. H is not from New Zealand. H is from the
Good time,
city
Mike.
of Oklahoma. And we got our domesticated
Hey,
king.
we know that guy.
We know it.
What's up, brother?
So, without more tossing around, what do you think if we introduce our guest of the day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
Go right ahead. You get him in out here, Nico.
So, it's a legend, it's a myth. We don't know. What we know is the Tides are good with him, good with they. They are the guy from Corsair Creations. There you go.
How are
Hey,
you,
guys.
Quaid?
Doing all right.
Coming on, man.
Fantastic to be here.
Quaid,
My
where are you
co-host
coming
here is-
to us from?
Let's see, my wife and I are way out in the middle of the west in a little tiny town in Wyoming, which is the weirdest place to set sail from in the United States.
Right.
That is true. I mean, I'm from Michigan, so at least we would have the lakes around.
Right.
Yeah, of everything, water here is man-made, which is the terrible irony of launching this line.
Don't feel
Speaking of
bad. Don't feel bad. In some time in the past with H, we tried to set a cruise to Mexico City in the mainland, and we will never know how the cruise will go into the freaking city. But
That's
we
not for
had
us
the
to figure
project.
out.
Don't feel bad.
So, for those who
We're
don't
okay.
know, Nico, why don't you explain to everybody where Quaid is coming from? Why we have him here?
Yes, Mr. Jamie.
There we go.
For all of you, before you ask, I'm gonna put a QR code here at this site. If you scan that QR code, you are going to be redirected to this Kickstarter campaign. It's the Kickstarter for Corsair Creations, and you can press on that beautiful button that says "Notify me when it launches," so you can go and get these amazing figures. Shamey, all yours.
Man, and they are absolutely fantastic. I had a minute to kind of flip through this for a while, was looking at it yesterday and the day before, and I just now found out about this myself, and I was so excited to see these. For me, the whole pirate lore, everything behind it, is something that's interested me since I was young. My parents used to have a black velvet painting of this big giant pirate ship in my dad's office. So I used to look at that and
Oh
just kind of
wow.
daydream and come up with ideas and tell stories about this ship. So to be able to think that there's going to be a line come out with some of these figures, to be able to take some of those ideas and make them our own, right? It's going to be fantastic. So living in Wyoming, how did you come up with the idea of going pirate?
Well, for living in Wyoming, I'm afraid my imagination has always been a lot more boundless than the boundaries that I find myself confined in. That's where I was born, that's where I was raised, and I've never related to my environment at all. You know, it's cowboy country. But regardless of that, I had access to a lot of my mother's influence, which was all 80s pop culture stuff. And it helped that, you know, being raised in the, as I think it's people are probably suspicious of, I'm not terribly old. So being raised in the early 2000s, that niche of Pirates of the Caribbean films was highly influential. And at the same time, there were a lot of really solid pirate toys around at that time frame for about a 5-6 year period while those films were at their height. So I had Mega Bloks sets that were really, really inspirational when it came to this. And at the end of the day, for some reason, as a child, my two go-tos when playing were, you know, knights, castles, robots, and pirates. So what's so strange to me is that, you know, of those genres, those are all really, really well represented within the toy industry in some facet or other, except for pirates. And they haven't been represented for quite some time. They haven't been represented even since the original Caribbean trilogy ended. You know, there were 2 films after that that only did so well. And the fad just trickled out and died for some reason. I always thought it was strange that Disney seemed to be the standard for which the pirate storytelling hinged on.
Mhm.
And it just seemed to me that it was time that a new story was interjected. So a lot of the flavor from those stories is, of course, brought into this world, but it's very much meant to stand on its own and give somebody a new story to tell. This is not Jack Sparrow at all, and it's meant to be potentially even cooler.
So there is a story. These are not just toys. There is a story. There's something else that goes along
Right.
with the figures.
There's a whole lore based around these guys, and that was, interestingly enough, you know, you kind of, when starting a toy line, it seems to go one of 2 ways. You have kind of the really interesting history of Transformers, where you have the product line that starts at Takara in Japan, they bring it into the US, they adapt a storyline for it, and then they reverse engineer it into their TV show. You know, our story is a little bit similar. It starts very much toy first, and the story was informed after which the toys came into play. And the story pretty much wrote itself overnight. And that is all digestible content that people can find on the website, which is Tide-Realm Corsairs.com. And that's something where we have a little blurb in there with the navigator at the top called the Pirates Codex. And that's where all of that story content is slowly being trickled out the further we get down to the campaign. But all of these guys have backstories, personalities of their own, and of course, as captains, there's a whole background of characters that would go with these guys.
Excellent, man. So that is something that we can go on. We can read about these guys, get excited about them before we actually get them in hand.
Absolutely. There's
Start
reams and
creating the
reams and
stories
reams
in
of
our
story
heads.
content. Precisely.
Cool.
And they're designed, you know, as a pirate line. That was the first and foremost priority, which was to take a page out of the book of our wonderful mentors at Four Horsemen Studios to make sure that the silhouettes, the characters we were presenting, were evergreen enough for people to bring themselves to that character. So while we have prescribed lore for these guys that we've come up just with, not only for marketing purposes, but for the sheer sake of the passion for the project, but we wanted to have these toys malleable enough so that people could do what they wanted with them. Captain Deathmoid, our skeleton guy, is far more than that within universe. There's lots of implications towards what he is. But if you want him to be that undead pirate captain, that's exactly what he can be. And the same applies for all of these guys. they're all highly specific for what they're prescribed to be within universe, but not so much in the sculpting that you can't use them in whatever setting you would like them to be.
So looking through your IG page, you can tell that you have done toy photography. When you were kind of creating these and designing these, how much of that of this community was going on in your head as to what we could do with it when you were designing it and creating those toys?
Photography was a pretty big indicator as far as, what a good selling point would be with these guys, because they're designed, of course, as playthings first. But the cinematic quality was something that we were very, very interested in maintaining for this line specifically. We wanted them to feel almost as if they stepped out of a video game. And so they've, some different proportions than you expect from figures of these genre to kind of fit within that realistic setting. So we, were motivated by that because it would make photography that much more interesting and help them fit in some of those more realistic dynamic settings. And that's half the reason, the sculpting is the way that it is. These guys look cool for the sake of looking cool while maintaining their functionality. And so they're going to be a joy to photograph because there's so many nooks and crannies to discover on these guys that, I've had the prototypes in hand for a long, long time. And just the other day, photographing them again, I'm noticing details that, we implemented, but I'm not around them 24/7 that I've forgotten.
Right.
There's so many cool things to find on each of those guys.
Oh, that's excellent. When you yourself, who helped design or who did design these, can go, ooh,
right.
Look at that.
Right. That's the exact
cool
experience we've had. It's precisely. It's kind of like opening a new piece of candy every single time I look at them because they're by nature. They're right. They're 3D printed directly from the studio, so they're sturdy enough to photograph, but they're not a toy yet. There's certain things that you just don't want to do to them, so you have to be ginger while you're photographing them. There's certain things that, oh yeah, I've only seen that one time since the last time I photographed it.
So May 1st, right, is when people can go and start helping things kick off?
Absolutely. May 1st is the launch date. That's something that we've had fairly tentatively established for quite a while. But, once we got we're treading pretty close to the beginning of spring, we decided that we wanted to lock in that date as soon as possible because there's a lot going on this year. There's a lot of places for people's wallets to be tugged, and we wanted to make sure people knew what to expect when. And so there's a good 2.5 month buffer here, which feels like a lot to anybody who's looking to buy these guys, feels like nothing to the guy who's promoting them. I cannot get enough hours in the day in order to make these 10 weeks optimized as possible. But May 1st, that is that target date. That's the first 74, whatever, those first 3 days of a campaign is what's most crucial to a Kickstarter. And the reason for that is because Kickstarter is, just like any other platform, an algorithm. And when it has a certain amount of attention from a certain demographic, it informs the rest of that demographic that's on that platform to keep looking and to keep clicking. The more attention that it has in a very fast time span on launch day is what gets it in front of more fans more quickly, and as such gets you past the quicker you get to that funding goal, the easier it is to make sure that everybody who got in early gets exactly what they're after. Kickstarters kind of run on a pattern of, you have a lot of excitement in the beginning and then a lot of excitement at the end for everybody who's holding off waiting. And the thing about waiting is it's a little counterintuitive. One of the things that's nice about Kickstarter is that you're not charged anything until you have a successful campaign. That successful campaign doesn't happen unless people jump on as soon as they can.
So we'll keep that date in mind
before we go on, I'm gonna save the mental health of someone here. Flip, they are 112. Chill, buddy. They are 112. It's like the third time he has said they are not 112. They are 112. Oh my god, they are 112.
They'll fit right in with everybody else that they're contemporary with. There's some comparison shots, I think, on the Kickstarter page, and there's also comparison shots. There's actually a plethora of them on the website.
That's good. That's awesome. Because that is one thing that I've had happen to me. I've bought in got something that I didn't really know that much about, hadn't had it in hand, and you come in and it doesn't fit any of the scale of some of my other figures, even though it says it is. If you didn't do that comparison first,
But
it kind of throws everything off.
they're going to be
Right.
112. Okay.
Right.
But 112 meaning 6.5 inches, or 112 like they are big characters, so they are inside 112, but they are maybe bigger.
They're within that 112th. These guys cap off right at that 7-inch mark for some of the tallest ones.
Okay, great.
That is an intimidating person at that 7-inch.
Right.
Yeah,
when you
but-
see that,
Well,
but when you
one
see
of the
that
things
skeleton,
about
you're
our-
thinking that's got to be intimidating.
Oh yeah, the monster guys do really, really well at the height they're at, and then within lore, our captain Alistair Morningstar is actually written to be a very large man. He's like 6'4", and so it was within the confines of what we wanted to have them to be the size class they are. It's also done that way, to differentiate the line from everything else that's contemporary with. One of the requirements Horseman had us work with was to make sure that the scale was different enough to establish that brand unique to itself. And we found a really, really nice sweet spot with 7 inches, and they felt in hand exactly how we wanted them to.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because at 7 inches, you're not towering over anything, and you're definitely not under. So
Nope.
That's really good.
Yeah, but we got
They
this
worked out really,
conversation.
really well.
We got this conversation a lot of time. You got characters that are like inside 112, but they are small guys, like 5 feet, so they're going to be less than 6 inches. And then you got guys like, I don't know, the Juggernaut, that even inside 112 it's like 8-9 inches, but it's in 112 scale, but the guy on the quote-unquote one-on-one is way bigger. So
Right.
we're trying to aim that kind of question, because 112 scale, but they are going to be 112 bigger, 112 standard, but it's okay. 7 inches, I think that it's a perfect size.
Yes, and it's
No
all
matter-
a lot of companies, it boils down to the character intentions. But these were something that we maintained that we didn't want. It was back and forth for a little while, because the Horsemen felt these would make good products even at a smaller scale, simply based on like the diorama conversation. Because of course the practical establishment of a pirate ship is pretty darn difficult at any scale, even if it's something like 3 3/4 inch. But the level of detail that we wanted out of these figures did not fit small toys, so we found exactly what we were hoping for.
How did you go from without spending 17 hours explaining, because I know there's probably so much information in there, how did you go from the idea of Pirate Line to hooking up with 4 Horsemen and actually kind of making this happen?
It was actually really, really intuitive. I could turn it into a 2-hour story, but it's actually
you
very
could.
much as simple as right. It's as simple as we had a pretty firmly established idea of a market that was asking for a very specific product, and we had an even better established inkling of how we would do that before we even put concept to paper. The only thing we were missing was somebody who could bring that idea to life based on the assets we have. We're a new company just starting out, and we wanted to go to the best. Well, come to find out, the best we were already had in hand. I'd just been introduced to the Figura Obscura line through Horseman that previous Christmas to us emailing them. And I think I've told this story quite a few times at this point. I looked at my wife and said, if we can't make toys like this, I don't think we should at all. That was before I even knew that I could email them and speak to them on the basis that this became. And they didn't just give us, the tools necessary to make the prototypes and communicate the idea we wanted. They gave us the groundwork that we would need as a new company to start building that ourselves. And that's a pretty key component of what makes us who we are as a company. It's very much the Horsemen that gave us the foot in the door to establish this brand as what it is and remain a unique enough identity to traverse the ecosystem of the toy industry in a really, really purposeful way that we couldn't have done without them. The concepts themselves, the characters, the story, the aesthetic, all very much was practically overnight. It wrote itself into existence. It was not hard to come up with, simply because It was kind of waiting to be birthed. We wanted to meet all of those classic pirate motifs that people expect from a cool fantasy character like this, ground it within the reality of what makes Tide-Realm what it is, and signify its uniqueness from anything else behind it. And those three pillars of what we wanted very quickly informed what these guys were going to look like. And the Horsemen just took that, level 10 that we had of an aesthetic and took it to an 11. Had them sculpted in 6 months, and there we were.
That speaks a lot for Horsemen too, that they didn't just shut you down, they or gatekeep or anything like that. They actually helped you guys out and brought you where you needed to be. That's the way people should be when we're all kind of in this community. AJ,
Right, it was the most intuitive.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're all right. I was just going to say it was the most intuitive, creative process I have ever been a part of. And I've been a part of a few. This was something that everybody was very much on the same wavelength when it came to the intention of design, let alone the motivation that we had as a company. And that was absolutely their main motivation, was the health and the longevity of the toy industry. And that was our motivation too. It couldn't have been a better pairing.
I get it. H, did you have any questions?
No, you guys have been nailing all of them.
Sorry, I just started talking, and I'm taking it all in. As I said, I just discovered this yesterday when we were talking about having them on, and it's all so it's fresh and new to me, so I'm all excited.
Right, me too.
Nico,
great.
you've been looking at these. You've been trying to get these guys on for a while. Did you have more to add in there with Quaid?
I get a lot of questions, but I don't want to be invasive, so I'm gonna go with the usual stuff. So we know there are three characters are coming on the Kickstarter campaign. We got Captain Alistair Morningstar, should be like the human guy, let's say. Then we got Algol Detmoy, that's like the school/skeleton captain. And finally we got Captain Charybdis. It should be the guy who looks like Cthulhu/Davy Jones, right?
You nailed it.
Forgiving references. I know that they came with a ton of hands, some like swords and guns. Will be in the next, like, let's say in the future, some kind of accessory packs or like build your pirate stuff pack?
That is something that we would love to be able to offer. And one of the things with this particular project is establishing the groundwork for later. This is very much not just investing in a product line, but Kickstarter is unique because it's investing in a company. So one of the really great gifts that you guys as a fan, anybody watching, that they're giving to this campaign is the groundwork that we have for the future later as far as things to offer. Things like an accessory pack, while fairly early to establish in what we're offering for this, is something that we want to make happen. Stretch goals are something that we've had to very, very closely, bake in as much leeway as possible when it comes to getting as much as possible out of this campaign for the first time around in. An accessory pack, however, is something that it's an endless plethora of things you could offer. And so we packed in as much as we possibly could with these three base figures. And that's something that if this Kickstarter went supremely well, would be one of the first things we'd be touching on, is giving people even more storytelling devices with extra accessories like that.
Cool. And I'm not trying to tease about the Kickstarter because we know that those campaigns may have those kind of like, okay, if we reach this amount, we're gonna get a stretch goal. So we're not going to dive in that. We're going to avoid that. But I know, because from the mails, the lore that you send by mail, you're getting recorded an audiobook for the lore of these characters. There are also another characters may be coming soon. That's you see that possible?
It depends on which one we're talking about.
We're talking about the three pirate gods of the sea.
Oh, yes. The gods are very much something, they're highly influential when it comes to the lore specifically.
Exactly.
Those characters are actually what informed the rest of the line as a whole. They informed the direction of the three captains that are part of the Kickstarter this time around, and they're very much what shapes the Tide-Realm Isles into what they are. They are, of course, being gods by nature, highly ambitious characters. They're things that, within universe, they're city-sized people. So there's something from a product standpoint, they would be highly complex to achieve in any setting, no matter how far along we were in production. So there's something that's very much, targeted down the road for attacking, but they're so highly influential to the storyline and what makes the three products that we have now what they are, that we very much wanted a visual representation of them as quick as possible for people to reference back. They're talked about constantly within the lore, and there's something that we wanted people to be able to go to.
Yeah. And what about the crew building for each crew of their captains?
That's something that we're very, very excited to be able to in the future hopefully meet, because the amount of lore building that is behind these three captains would take up, you guys would be well fed for a long time. And like I said, this first Kickstarter is what informs, not only the brand investment of what makes this line what it is, but also how much leeway we have and how much we're able to offer the next time around. Crew builders are something that we talk about all the time, and it was very much kind of a tipping point between when we brought the idea to Horsemen. We had a big decision to make because we had about 50 or more product concepts in front of them that we had to narrow down based on what we could realistically produce for our first time out. And so we selected the main characters of each faction, which the whole story very highly revolves around. These three guys are something that, just as the triad that they are a complete set in their own right, because they're so highly influential to each other on an intrinsic level. Their crew members are things that are just as interesting to them concept-wise, and we wanted to lead with the strongest concept first, rather than a breakout line of possibly slightly more generic-looking pirates that were not communicating the level of ambition that this particular line comes with. And so that was what made us choose
there you go.
our cap to offer.
I think you freeze again. Jamie.
Oh, did I lose you?
Oh, I'm here. H, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Quaid. Oh, we got a new guest. That's why we're freezing.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Hello,
I was having a
Paul.
lot of issues trying to connect. I apologize.
no problem.
there's Terrence.
Terrence, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
So yes, my name is Terrence St. John. I am the owner of Creative Realms. We are a business that will basically be helping bring Tide-Realm to a lot of cons over the next couple months. And so we really want to basically get as many people to be aware of this great product line, and that's coming to Kickstarter May 1st. And so Quaid being in Wyoming, I'm not sure if he had gotten to tell you that part of the story yet, but he's kind of landlocked in Wyoming. And me being an East Coaster, I am constantly going to cons, and it just made sense that, hey, if I'm going to be going to all these shows, why not bring Tide Realms to the masses? So
Perfect.
Terrence has
Where are
saved their
you?
butt.
Where are you out of, Terrence?
So I am originally from New York City, but I currently live in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, okay, that's got to be nice. I'm in Michigan. We have been freezing, and then today we had a thunderstorm. So there's that.
Nice.
Thunder snow.
I get a question about the campaign, not about the lore of the character. Something that usually happens on Kickstarter, and sometimes it's kind of like, it's a bad moment. What about the shippings? I mean, for example, I live in Chile. I am from South America, and I'm
Right.
I'm sending this campaign to a lot of guys in here. Like, you need to get this. You need it. I don't care if you don't like pirate. You need to get
Right.
those figures.
Right.
So what about with this kind of things when you say like international shipping? It's going to be under the radar for the campaign on Kickstarter.
It's something that we're still talking to the studio about because it is very complicated to make that happen, and it's something that when it comes to shipping quotes through backer kit on the end of the campaign, so that each of those quotes are tailor fit for each particular backer, so that we can meet them with where they're at. International shipping is something that just from a newcomer is territory that we still have to discuss when it comes to the studio, because there's a couple different routes you can go to meet that need, and we want to explore all of them fully before we make any one commitment. So it's something that we have our eye on very, very closely, because we're very keenly aware that there are folks outside of the country that are very interested in this line.
I got like
See,
10
that's it,
people
Nico.
here.
You're just gonna have to come here to get it.
No. If I go to States to get them, I need to get like 10 of each at least for bringing back to
Right.
Chile and start like.
Right.
It's like I need like 10 suitcase.
I don't see the problem for us on this. If you want, we'll
Yeah.
get you 10,
Right, you'll just have to buy enough so that you can pay for not only your plane ticket back when you resell them later, but you
My
can.
wife it will be the problem. My wife will be waiting for me with a knife like this. As how many did you get? Why do you get like that amount of boxes? You say there are 3. Why do you get like 30?
Hey, I think that's a fantastic investment.
Oh yeah, for me too. But the wife, it's another. I mean, let's go straight para dead men tell no tales. I'm gonna be a dead man if I get that many pirates.
Right tagline for that situation.
Oh man.
We want to make sure that folks who are interested in this line, as many as possible, have the option to get them. They're things that, especially as the new entity, there's a lot of new territory that we're navigating. However, we have such expertise at our disposal when it comes to Four Horsemen that there's challenges that just come up on every scale, no matter what entity you are, when it comes to fulfilling a full stretch, campaign project like this. But you have such a plethora of knowledge and expertise and experience when it comes to who we're working with, that it's very, very easy to meet these challenges on that level because they know what they're talking about.
Okay, that's cool. So I got 2 questions. First, I'm gonna do one from the audience here. Craig asks, "Can you speak on this design history? How do you came with the designs? A little bit."
It's not terribly complicated. We took a piece of paper and we took a pencil, and then we took our big whole imaginative brains there and just kept sketching, and that went for probably a month and a half before we had as many concepts as we wanted. The design history was, they're very much informed on a lot of my preferences as an action figure consumer. There's just things that Four Horsemen as a company were meeting on a product level that I had not seen anyone else do, and it's their design philosophy that very much informed some of our unique design philosophy. They were meeting an aesthetic taste that I had not seen a large-scale corporation do before. And so it very, very much fell in line with what our design intentions were. That Jacob Marley from Figura Obscura very much informed. He was that kind of base template for what we would like, and we just elevated it to another level.
Cool. And now a question that maybe it's for both of you. You say that Terrence is the one who brings always the prototypes and the booth for the conventions and the events, right?
Yes.
What's the roadmap for this 2026 on the conventions you have? Where people can find you physically on those conventions, Terrence?
So starting off with, in about a week, we will be at ZoloCon. Now that con we will not have a booth at. We will be at ZoloCon in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and it's not too far from Philadelphia. It's going to be a great 3-day con. It's one that I've gone to for the last 3 or 4 years. It's attended by Four Horsemen. It's a great con. About a month later, we're going to be at Toylanta, which is a fantastic Southeast con in Atlanta. Surprise, surprise, Toylanta's in Atlanta. But that's in Duluth, Georgia. So that's at the end. It's the last weekend of March. about 2 to 3 weeks after that, we will be up in Morristown, New Jersey at ToyCon NJ. And then about 5 or 6 weeks later, we will be at IshCon, which is in Durham, North Carolina. So I feel like we're a rock band on tour, but we're really going to go out of our way to try to get as many folks at as many cons to see these fantastic figures. Because I know a lot of folks come to these cons and they're not really staying up to date on what's happening on YouTube or on on the internet. But we feel like when people get to see these figures in person, I think it's going to really get them excited. So we hope that as many people come out and hang out with us and ask us as many questions they want. And we'll be probably in a better position at that point to talk about some of the stretch goals and the things that are going to currently still kind of in the works with the production quotes that we're working on currently.
Cool.
Absolutely.
There you go. So people on the room on the chat or hearing this maybe on the replay crew, then I'm gonna ask then Terrence to write me those dates about the cons, and I'm going to put all that data on the description of the video, so you can go to those cons if you're near, and go.
You can also find it on the website too.
Okay, great.
There you go.
Yeah.
So another question that I'm sure is on everybody's mind is, from May 1st, and then say you hit the goals, about how long approximately before a toy is in shipping mode, in hand? Like, how long do they wait from the time of investment?
So there's a couple factors that can decide how long that will take, and some of it boils down to how long you've been in pre-production. That's things like prototyping and conceptual design, which all kind of boils into that package of what it takes to bring a toy from idea to life. You know, your strongest estimate for how a lot of these indie toy companies have to structure their trajectory, because it's not linear. There's a lot of problem solving when you get from the prototype into the factory, and the factory makes a lot of the heavy lifting decisions when it comes to how that toy is structured and what the engineering actually goes into to make it function the way you like. So an 18-month time period is a really, really good, comfortable place from getting from concept to delivery, and it's something that there's lots of factors that can either make that go quicker or slower depending on what the creator runs into. I have a really, really good friend by the name of Adam from the AWOC team. He kind of described it. It's not so much having, as a creator, when you go to make a toy, it's not like having a Lego set and the instructions in front of you, and just so long as you keep putting those pieces brick by brick on top of each other, you know, that's how long your time period is for when you get the thing done. It's more like having the instructions and all the polymer that it requires to make said Lego bricks, and then going from there. So it's a very complex and in-depth process, and it's a lot like making a movie. There's so many things that you can anticipate as the day is long for what problems that are going to occur, and you'll get in there, and there'll be a little piece of minutia. There'll be a sculpting area that needs tweaked. There'll be a paint pass that either needed more or you have to dial back on. So it's very complex, and it's something that if you want to do it right, you do it well, and you take the time to do so, because people pay good money for a premium action figure.
You don't want to speed it up and have them falling apart on you. I get it.
Nope, not at all.
So you feel about a year and a half is pretty normal, what people could probably expect?
We will do whatever possible to speed it up, but that's a good, strong indicator for how long it will usually take.
Well, I think it is a year and a half for me to just get more excited about it.
Right.
Well, one of the nice things about having
excited.
Precisely. One of the nice things about having a nice long stretch between that delivery time is the sheer amount of story content that we have in the background is probably enough to have people even more rabid for the next line afterwards. There's so much world building that will be able to slowly trickle out to people as they're waiting for this debut wave, that I know folks are going to be even more invested than probably that day one launch at Kickstarter.
That's awesome.
If you gave people 18 months, you can build a diorama of a huge pirate ship in 18
Exactly.
months.
You guys have just enough time to make a playset.
Yep. In fact, if you plan things straight good, you can make 3, 1 for each captain. You got 6
Exactly.
months. You got 6 months per ship. There you go.
That's something that I'm
That's
really
actually-
excited to when it comes to the campaign. We're actually working on the concept arts for each captain's ship, which will most likely, the intention is to feature that on the box art. So people will actually have a reference point for what those things look like within World.
Ooh, that would be good.
That'd be cool.
All in.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I have not been this excited about a toy line in a long time. When I see concepts or things coming up or things, I'm like, that's kind of cool. This one,
Right.
you got me hooked.
Well, I'm gonna be kind of raw here. The other day we were talking about lines and new lines. And
Yeah.
one of the most things that like, and I'm gonna take this is my opinion, but something that annoys me, it's seeing new lines that are like more or less a reboot or a quote unquote copy of another line. When you see you got, I'm gonna use an example that is real, and I'm gonna call a fictional one. But you got G.I. Joe, and then you got a guy in another part of the world that may say, I'm gonna create a super new toy line. It's going to be about soldiers.
Mhm.
And the soldiers will be fighting to another faction of soldiers. They want to take the control, and they have awesome vehicles.
Mhm.
Okay, you're more or less G.I. Joe. Then you go and you have
Right.
like 4, you got 5, 6 more or less similar lines, instead of having more niche lines. And something that I was really, really like happy to see, it was to see these pirates coming out. And there's another line coming out. I don't remember the name, so if the creators are watching me, don't kill me. But it's something about the rise of the new sun or something like that. They are like Aztec soldiers, and they are like a army building of Aztec soldiers in 1/12 scale. And also you can get they give you the STL for printing the Aztec pyramid and make the dial.
It's-
They're doing good work over there. They're doing
and it's-
really good work over there.
Yeah, and it's like these are the things that we need. We need to see new stuff coming out. Like,
Well, that was our primary motivation when it came to conceptualizing these things, is that just I, as a consumer, had come to a place where I was rather exhausted of seeing kind of not only the same 3 or 4 names within the toy industry, but those same 3 or 4 names recycling the same names they've been talking about since the 80s. And we all have great fondness for all of those characters from, well, most people's childhood. Mine is about 20 years behind. However, they're all things that I also
Shut
have
up,
a great
Wade.
deal of fondness. They're concepts that folks are so firmly attached to that there's a reason that those evergreen lines from places like Hasbro and Mattel go to that pool, because it's reliable and folks are going to consume it because it either hits on a nostalgia vein. It's affordable because there's kind of a tried and true way of producing them. Oh, Terrence is giving me the timeout.
So, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to knock. I have a very big sense of, I never want to yuck anybody else's yum. There are people out there who
Right.
love those other lines, and they're fantastic.
Right.
I grew up as a
Absolutely.
Masters of the Universe fan. Like, I love He-Man and Master Universe. But like when I got into Mythic Legions, it felt like a better version of those characters, like
Precisely.
a bigger world, a more articulated, a better sculpted figure. And of course, it doesn't hurt that the 4 Horsemen were the guys who worked on the classic He-Man classics, Master Universe classics in
Right.
the early 2000s. So there's an evolution there. I think that we live in a great time period now I know some people have worries about Kickstarters, or like you might have sounded like you were saying about how there's so many other new lines coming out that
Mhm.
sometimes we look at our wallets, like how many things can we, follow and jump on board of. But I think that now there's this feeling of, if you feel you're missing something, you don't have to miss it. There's somebody who's going to make it. And maybe you're the guy that's going to make it. But the idea being like, I feel like pirates have been missing for a long time. Like there was a time when you could find pirates in the toy aisle, or you could find cowboys in the toy aisle, and you can't find them anymore. So I think it's great that Quaid's bringing that back. But like G.I. Joe, obviously if you love G.I. Joe and
Well,
just regular
don't-
G.I. Joe,
don't,
that's one
don't,
thing.
don't take me wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that G.I. Joe are bad. It's like
Right.
you got
right.
you got G.I. Joe. When I was a kid, I got tons of GI Show, and I
Uh-huh.
got tons of the vehicles, and they were great, and the classified series today are great.
Mhm.
The thing it's like you got an established line like as the GI Show,
Mhm.
and it's cool to see something different coming out.
Sure.
Like not a guy that some point in the map saying I'm gonna release a new line of figure and they are like GI Show 2.0. It's like do something different,
Sure.
because it's super cool to see that variety of stuff on the shelf. Or
Absolutely.
on the
I mean,
campaign.
it's great because I can think of right now, there's probably 5 or 6 different companies I know who make a modern day military line. It might be Valaverse, or it might be Skeletron, or it might be Soldiers of Fortune over at Big Bad Workshop. And I mean, they're all doing fantastic work. There's something there for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't like what Hasbro's doing, you have a variety of other companies to choose from.
Right.
Same thing with fantasy, same thing with, horror. There's so many, you're not stuck now. I kind of think it's like when I was younger, we had 5 TV channels, and then you got cable. And now I think a lot of us say, we have 700 channels and we still can't figure out what to watch. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of think that's where we are with toy lines now. There's so many options and choices.
And you pay for like stream service, and you got the 700 channels, but
Yeah.
you go to Netflix or Amazon to see your movie.
And they used to say you
Right.
paid for it so you didn't get commercials, but now you still get commercials. So I don't understand, but
And
We had a
now,
weird transition in there.
and now you got commercials and some stream services too. If you don't pay the premium plan, they sell you.
Yeah.
Okay, you pay the cheaper, you're going to have commercials. It's
Mhm.
like no way.
One of the
Man.
coolest things I think about the toy industry right now is kind of touching on what Terrence is describing is we had a really cool and completely reinvented golden age for what made toys and the play pattern that came with them in about 1984 and beyond. And that never really stopped. That never really died. It just either got better or reinvented for a new audience. And it's something that everybody who's come from that demographic that has now hit the era that they are in, you have these really, really, really high quality versions of those classic characters that people have grown up with. And we've hit a point where we have so many fantastic representations of all of those characters that are already special, but I think we have an adult fan base that's very much interested in a new golden era of what makes toys and storytelling what they are. And I think that the indie scene is something that we're beginning to see what that looks like. And hopefully for the longevity of the toy industry, we're seeing themes and IPs that will then inform that next 40-year generation. And hopefully people will be talking about pirates with the same fondness that they were talking about Skeletor.
Or maybe a Skeletor pirate. You know what I mean? Like Deathmoid.
Yeah.
So
Yo,
before we pull up your IG page and kind of look at some of these pictures, some of these characters that you have coming out, so it kind of in action, because most of the people that are watching us are toy photographers, and we kind of want to see that
Right.
what they look like, right? Before we do that, though, if there's somebody who's on here that's watching, if they feel like they have an idea, what would be your best tip for somebody who has an idea in their head and they just need to know what that first step is to making it onto paper and to where you guys have come now?
I got this for Daniel. Daniel says there aren't enough pirates or cowboys, so there you go. You can establish
Daniel's right
a
there.
line. You need to establish a company on New Zealand. You need to hire me to make the photography. You are going to be the CEO. I'm going to fly to New Zealand, and then we can meet with Quaid and with Terrence, and we can go to the cons. I got everything planned.
He's got it all mapped out. He's got the whole process already.
Well, I volunteer to be your tour guide at any of the cons that you'd like to come to. I am the ambassador of these East Coast cons. I'll be glad to bring you with me wherever you come.
Terrence is the best tour guide.
I'm speaking frankly, I only know one kind of like cool cowboy line, and it's not actual cowboys. There are the cowboys from Moon Mesa that Nacelle released last year, and they are like cartoonish cowboy.
Yeah.
I won't say that Corsair Creations doesn't have a lot of things in its back pocket, but I also won't say that we don't either.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yippee
Yeehaw
ki
is the right response.
You can say something like the cowboys are the pirates for the far west. So one thing takes to another.
A lot of wiggle room when it comes to an indie company. Absolutely.
Oh, we got one of our guys saying here, I believe people over the age of 18 have gone over the 50% mark in the purchase of action figure for most lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good analysis. It's probably not quite there yet, but it's going to approach it, and that's
So there was actually an
demographic
article
like
put out
me.
about this not terribly long ago. So a couple years ago, they here in the States, at least, I don't know if it was more international, but in the States, they were starting to refer to, and it was a little bit of a controversy here amongst the YouTubers here locally. They were, some people loved it and some people hated that we were being referred to as kidults, like adult kids basically buying toys and stuff like that. But I think because of the price point of what these toys are and the sophistication of the engineering of them versus what we might have grown up with once upon a time, I think they've become, the toys have kind of grown up with us to some extent, and, you're not going to typically find a 6-year-old that's going to walk in and buy a $40, $50, $60. I don't think they're buying Mafex or Mezco or,
Not really.
I think that these are toys that are maybe more appreciated by an adult, and sometimes with maybe it's the violence or the, the scare factor. Although I feel like I grew up with Skeletor and he was definitely a skeleton back then too. But, I just think that, I'm not ashamed to be a toy collector. These are like pieces of art. And again, you guys being photographers, I mean, that better than I do. Like, you basically make art with the photography. You give life and story to these and capture them in still images in ways that, we can only imagine,
We put that 14 plus on the box for a reason.
Yeah.
For the tiny accessories.
Right. For all
Oh,
the
the
things
kids are
that you
swallowing them, right?
should not be swallowing that I know only the adults are going to try to.
No. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when you're trying to make a scene and try to take a picture, and it's like, I'm gonna change the hand of this action figure. I'm not saying toys. I'm saying action figure. So
Right.
what do you don't have 3 hands, so you take one hand, you hold it right here, and you. So you must be careful. Even when you got the
Precisely.
plus 14 doesn't mean that you're not going to have an accident.
Just future reference, don't start putting Charybdis's boots in your mouth because you'll regret it.
Oh man, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's quite cool. So there's something that we used to have some kind of internal shock in this kind of communities of toy photographers. Most of us has maybe 20, 30 years old, someone's 40, 50, doesn't matter, but you start defending and being sticking to your guns in the terms of this is an action figure, this is not a
Right.
toy,
Right.
this is an action figure, even when it's a toy in the freaking box. But
It is
no one
called
can
toy
tell
industry
me,
for a reason.
yeah, but no one can tell me that it hurts when your wife comes or your girlfriend comes and say, oh, you're playing with those dolls. It's like,
That's the worst.
no,
My wife calls them dolls all the time just to get under my skin.
no.
Well, when you were a kid, dolls were toys that little girls or your sister or somebody like that changed the costumes on and the outfits, and Barbie had 50 different outfits. And now we go out of our way to get a Mezco Gomez that has 15 different shirts and jackets and sneakers and
They are kind of dolls. I get it.
so
Yeah.
Precisely.
That's something in the pride of art that it say, no, even that action figure, please. I'm
Well,
an action
one of the
figure
best parts-
photographer.
Exactly. That's why it's called what it's called. One of the best parts about what I get to do on my line is my wife is something else because she's half the reason this toy line is what it is. Abigail is just as influential and just as much of a component of what makes Tide-Realm that it is as I am. She's half the reason the lore is the way that it is. We've very much built this together, and it's
awesome.
irreplaceable to me.
2 things. First, so it's real. Behind every great man, there's a great woman. And second, Round of applause
That's
for
true.
Abigail.
Right. She deserves it because she puts in a lot of hard work, and she's one of the reasons that some of our baseline concept illustrations, it's fun because we have two different skill sets, two different places of experience when it comes to developing things like this. And I'm pretty decent at laying the groundwork for a sketch, and she's really good at detailing it out and shading it. And so it's a really linear
Cool.
process of getting it to the place that it is. And we're really excited for the campaign in May because we're going to be able to show off a little bit more of that stuff.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's
We'll look
awesome.
forward to
Yeah,
seeing
that'd
that
be
too. So we're getting pretty close to that hour mark here. Nico, did you have their page pulled up where we could look at some of the shots where we could see kind of what some of the ideas that we're talking about?
Yes, sir. There you go. I'm gonna make some zoom so you can see more of the miniatures, and then you can tell me what you want to bring. But first of all, I think that it's worth to see the characters itself.
Yeah,
Every
those
time
first
that
three posts are going to be your best bet for getting the best look, the cleanest look at these three prototypes.
Every time that I see this, I am like,
Man, that's
man,
The detail and everything.
Yeah.
you get. I mean, you can take the coats, and even under the coat, there's a lot of work. That's
Those
remarkable.
belts are one of my favorite details because they're unique to each character, and they're all communicating very either specific story points that are written within the lore, or they're just embedded in there to be cool and unique. And everybody has a different device or a different implement that's put on those belts that's specific to them. But that's one of those details that I get to revisit every time I look at them because, you only handle them so often. It's completely new to you the next time around.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Ooh.
It's impressive. I mean, again, every time that I see this, it's like, man,
Yeah, these are going to be awesome to take photos
It's the
of. I
blood
can't wait to
boiling.
get them posed in like swashbuckling, like sword fight type poses and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can't wait to
Yeah,
see
I
what
hear you,
Doug
man.
really does with the.
Especially when you start doing some like dio type pieces in there, like cannons or like things to make it look like they're on a ship, or a dock. I think it's going to be awesome.
What's going to make these figures cool is everybody who buys them. Seriously, I get to take stock photos on a black background, so you guys can appreciate what makes the toy what it is. It's all the fans that purchase these that breathe life into what these guys are.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, I think that there's just such a beauty in the fact that one of the bigger differences, I think, is that people get to be part of the story. Like when people get behind this, it becomes their toy line. It's something that they were a part of building, and making possible. So
Absolutely.
something that I really, really love about those like products / detail photography. It's like each character has super specific details. Like Cardibus has 4 fingers on the hands. The other one has 5, but also you pay attention to every detail on the rings. That's super important to the pirate like tradition, having those
Absolutely.
rings and all that
Absolutely.
stuff, and the jewels. And you can see all the details, even how do you call the suction cups on the hands of Cardibus?
Yes.
Yep.
You can see those
are details
kind
we
of
were
details.
very excited to establish for him because that animalistic tone and the ancient quality of what makes him what he is something that his having such detailed and layered hands was something that really sold that effect home.
Let me go back to the hands.
Even the moss on the feet, and you can see that aging in there. It's so cool.
I know, I love that detail.
Within universe, he's a character that's been imprisoned in his own environment for millennia, and so that environment is supposed to be a part of his body.
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
This is actually really great that you guys pulled this up because it's something I don't get to talk about very often. That last picture there is our most recent ad for the audiobook, and that's something that we are offering at no cost to anybody. That's something we're producing in-house for the campaign while it's live. The intention anyway is to have a new installment of the audiobook every day that the campaign is live. So there will be a audio presentation, sound effects, narration, music. It's supposed to be as immersive as possible within the lore, and that's something that you'll only be able to experience while the campaign is live. So that'll be on YouTube. It will be part of the backer updates while the campaign is going. And it's something that we're working very, very hard on with every passing day that the campaign gets closer, because it takes a ton of work to produce that by yourself. That's something that I have a long background in. I actually narrated audiobooks for 3 years before getting into this industry. And so it's something that we're really, really excited to share with people, because it's something unique that we're able to offer to this campaign exclusively.
And that will start May 1st also?
Yes.
You got a new backer from New Zealand. I can tell you right now. There you go.
We're going international.
Yeah, international shipping must be there. Please.
We're working hard. We want to make sure that anything we can offer possible is there. It's super complex, but
Well, when you're handling a pirate line, you take shipping very seriously. That's all I can say.
exactly. Terrence hit the nail on the head.
I will wait for having a Corsair in my door saying, "Arr, this is your figure, arr, ahoy!" if that doesn't happen to me, I'm gonna be super disappointed.
That's the type of delivery service we need to find out how to offer. You'd think Pirate Ship would do that.
Absolutely. I mean, this has nothing to do with toys, but there's a kind of restaurant in Argentina from where I come, that it's called how can I say, it's like Newport or something like this, or Pirate Port, let's say. When you go, the guys that are how do you call it, Jamie? The guys the waiters on the restaurant, they are dressed as pirates, and the whole resto, it's like theme with pirate. You got the whole walls are like treasure maps. The ceiling has like swords, fishing nets, things like hanging from and it's everything. It's covered in pirate stuff. So I would love to have a delivery service as a pirate that knocks out my door and say, "These are your pirate figures." That would be.
So here's the question, Terrence: do we need to open a Tide-Realm restaurant in Palm Beach?
I think we get this thing funded. We'll see what happens after that. But I mean, we gotta get these figures made first and make sure people care about it enough. But if we open it up, I know a bartender, so I mean, it's you got that in place already.
It's a given. You just need Deathmoid serving the drinks. He's a little intimidating at first. He might bite your hand off when he gives you the drink, but it's all about the experience.
Yeah.
But he likes all his martinis bone dry, so that's all,
Yep.
Just put that hand on ice afterwards. You can get it put back on later. That's fine.
Exactly. That's all part of the service. That's all part of the experience. Legion's
look at
Con
those
was
things.
something that did
Beautiful.
absolute wonders for the line. And that was something I was going to touch on in the beginning of the stream here, because I'm so enthralled that Terrence is able to offer to people what we were only able to do the one time in person at Legion's Con, because these things are something that they look cool on camera, but they are something else in person. They're a completely different animal when they're in front of you, and we heard that a lot at Legion's Con. There's people that they were aware of it, they were peripherally interested in it, but once it was in front of them, that world was real to them, and that physical object is something that's just irreplaceable when it comes to that experience. And so we're very, very
and we'll
excited
also have other
for people to
figures
be able
on the table as well, that people can get an idea of scale and comparison and whatnot, because I know that's always important to people.
Yeah.
Well,
especially the
there's a
photographers
link
like us.
here where you can see more or less. This is, I think this is an Mythic Legions, right?
Yep, that's Dubon.
Yeah. So you can have a comparison between those two. Pretty fair. And the size for me, it's like, yeah, I need those.
They're right
Yeah.
there.
Amazing. I need
This
to
is
see
something
more.
that people
Mhm.
can expect from especially the Instagram page, because we have a backlog of figure photography of these guys that was, at the launch, at the beginning of when we made people publicly aware of these in August. And so there's tons and tons of storytelling images on the pirate ship diorama that you can find on the website, but you have to go scrolling for quite a while to get to them on Instagram. So they're things that will be circulating even more frequently again as we get closer to the campaign, because they're extremely cool to look at. They're easily accessible on Tide-Realm Corsairs.com right now, but they're things that we want people to be able to get back at on Instagram because they're just so fun to look at.
So I'm gonna put here the Instagram. There you go.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Man, they look so cool. And those dials, they are like custom made for that expo, right?
They were something that me and my wife actually detailed out by hand. We sourced kind of the base diorama from some really gifted creators on eBay, and then painted them to make them a little bit more character specific when we brought them there. Unfortunately, they were so large and so hefty and so expensive that we had to sell them off before we left because we had no way to take them home. There was so much to transport in our luggage. So they're things that were very much exclusive to that convention. There's so many great photos that people took with them on board. And so we have some really cool fans that actually own those dioramas now.
Man, looks so
Cool.
So, trying to not be more time that we need to, because I can speak for hours about this.
We are all so very excited about it, right?
For everyone watching the show, go and back this project. You can see here the QR code. This is going to send you to the landing page of Kickstarter. Hit that button that says, remind me when it launched, and be super with an eye on it. May 1st will be the day. And also you can go to Instagram, Corsair Creations, follow this campaign because it's amazing. And if you don't do it,
share the information.
I will be angry.
Right?
You'll probably have to walk the plank, honestly.
Knowing how much I want this, and I'm sure everybody that is watching this does, the only way that it happens is when people know about it, they share it, they see it, and they build it up. So to everybody watching, if it's something that you want, you got to be the salesman too. Get out, promote it, get people on there. Those, like he said earlier, those first 3 days are critical. So let everybody know May 1st is the time to be there. Let them know that this is that those first 3 days is so crucial, so important, and back it. If it's really something that you want, you've seen this, your heart's set on it. The only way they can do it is if we all back it. So make sure you're there, guys. If there's anything else that we can do, we'd love to have you back on at some point. Maybe even just before it happens to kind of get it fired up again.
Absolutely.
After things are going on, we'd love to have you back at some other time just to let us know what's happening, what's going on, what are the what are the future look like of the new figures and everything like that. We've loved having you guys on. It's been great.
I'm just glad to be here. It's fantastic that Terrence was able to get in just when he did, and it's a joy to share about this world as often as I get to anymore. The sheer love that we've received from community members that are so long-standing within the Legions community. We've reached folks that are outside of that are coming in and learning about new things that make the indie industry what it is. It's a joy to be able to share this process because I have a great love for everybody who makes this community and this industry what it is, and the fact that we're able to give to people the way that we are with this new toy line is something irreplaceable.
Yeah, it shows. It really does.
Yeah. For sure.
Terrence, very nice meeting you. It was great having you on, man. I love what you do. It's got to be fun touring around and getting to see the excitement on people's faces.
It is. It's fantastic.
These things, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, my big thing is I really, it was when I heard Quaid's story, I just knew that more people needed to know about this. And that's why I've taken this on as a cause to basically get it out there in front of as many people as possible. And so I hope if people come to the cons or if they have access, come out and see us, and just to caveat on what you said earlier, in addition to obviously checking out the Kickstarter, sign up for it right now, even if you want to, because again, there's no obligation, but that helps Kickstarter push that up so that more people see it. The more people that are actually following it, they basically expand. Kickstarter actually will put it out further. So anything that people can do to help us out is a big help. So we greatly appreciate you guys giving us the time to talk about it. So thank you so much.
Since we started
Absolutely.
the show until this point, you got 4 new backers on the Kickstarter. It's not that much, but it's honest. So kudos to everyone who's following.
Hey, those could be the
Very
4 that get us
awesome.
over the hump at the last second. You never know. You know what I mean?
There are
So,
no small crew members on this campaign, not at all. It means the world. And that notify me on launch button is your best tool as a consumer to vote for that public sphere. We want more of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am going right now.
Okay, one new backer. Let's go.
We've got another one. We got another last minute fun stream. That was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fantastic to be with you guys tonight. I'm so glad that we could make this happen.
And but you guys, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thanks
having
for
this
coming,
time, for being here too.
Of course.
All right. Well, you guys, normally this is the time where we kind of go around the room and see what everybody's doing, but we're past our normal time, so we're going to take the time to just say thank you for everybody that showed up. Remember to go back these guys. Thanks for being here for this community. After Dark, as I said before, this is our 22nd episode. Hope to have plenty more, and every one of them. We hope to see every one of you guys. Everybody have a great night.
We'll see
have a
you
good night,
tomorrow.
guys. Thanks again.
Thank you guys. Have a great one.
See you tomorrow. Bye bye.